We're live on your DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. This is John News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brezali. Stories this are: majority in Parliament calls out to the minority over what they describe as fear-mongering and scaring businesses away in their petty demand for parliamentary approval of every government contract.
By that act, they are obstructing government business. By that act, they are scaring investors, and that affects the economy.
Details, as the majority says, no contract, including the controversial SML deal, amount to any constitutional breach. Now, also, Electoral Commission warn any political party agent who misbehaves at any of their voter transfer centers will be thrown out.
I think that their presence will help in ensuring that people accept whatever comes up, and it also adds to the transparency aspect. So we told them that they should come back, but the condition is that anybody who comes there to misbehave will be taken away from the place.
Details, as the National Democratic Congress maintains the Electoral Commission is not being transparent. Also, over 150 houses flooded at Gomwa Mampon. Residents blame incident on the contractor working on the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway, whom they say has blocked the pathway of the river Ayensu.
They say any baby da. They say I'm going to kasa any baby da. Any young calling kitty. They say I'm going to a hospital. Me kwa kofano. Any baby da. And now no, they say that.
Now, the majority in Parliament has called out the minority over what it describes as fear-mongering in their demand for parliamentary approval of every government contract. The minority has, in the last few weeks, taken government on for signing various contracts, including the recent 5G service deal with NextGen Infranco. The minority contends that some of these sole source deals must be subjected to parliamentary approval, but the majority leader, Alexander Feomaking, at a press conference in Parliament this afternoon, says the nature of the deals do not breach any constitutional provision and does not demand any approval from Parliament.
Without prejudice to the general powers of Parliament to oversight, it is important to remind our colleagues that they ought not make Parliament a busybody, nosing for things that are not part of the mandate of Parliament. Our job as Parliament is provided for in the Constitution. And I would urge our friends in the NDC that by that act, they are obstructing government business. By that act, they are scaring investors, and that affects the economy. For the avoidance of doubt, let me quote the law they rely on, rather mischievously, for their political purpose. Act 921, Section 33, it provides, a covered entity shall not enter into any agreement with a financial commitment that binds the government for more than one financial year or that results in a contingent liability, except where the financial commitment or the contingent liability, A, is with the prior written approval of the minister, and B, authorized by Parliament in accordance with Article 181 of the Constitution. So, the question is, what does Article 181 say? Now, for this purpose, the relevant sub-clause of Article 181 is Clause 5, which provides that this article shall, with the necessary modifications by Parliament, apply to an international business or economic transaction to which government is a party as it applies to a loan. So, the contract under reference or the contract in question must be an international transaction. That is where our colleagues should pay attention to. It does not mean that every contract with a multi-year value should come to Parliament. So they should stop misleading the public. They should stop spreading falsehood.
minorities affecting government's relation with potential business partners?
Let me give you an example of the GRA SML contract, for instance. SML is a Ghanaian company, a wholly owned Ghanaian company registered in Ghana. And it was their demand that the SML contract should have come to Parliament because it's a multi-year contract. Our argument is that that is wrong. Because if you read the Act, which Act refers to the Article 181 of the Constitution. Now, the Article 181 has various subclauses. So it is for them to pay attention to the aspects of the law that will require parliamentary approval. And I'm saying that 1815 talks about an international commercial transaction. So local contracts or MOUs or agreements of multi-year value but are local cannot come under the anticipation of Article 1815. But they are just throwing it in, confusing people. All right? And for me, as a businessman, I know the effect of such pronouncement on business and the economy. Some of their pronouncements affecting industry and it's affecting the economy because, you see, for instance, we know about the situation with our city. If a politician who does not understand business would come out and just for the sake of politics make any pronouncement, the market will respond. And it's as a result of such, I don't want to say reckless, unreasonable comments that seem to be affecting the business environment. So I will encourage Ghanaian businessmen, individuals, not to rush to respond to the pessimists. They should be optimistic. I know what the government is doing. The government has a track record. It has done this before.
Now, we've been joined by Richmond Roxon, who is a private legal practitioner. For more on this, Richmond, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Now, what does the law really say about government contracting lawyers and where Parliament has to come in?
Good evening, Kojo Brace, and good evening to your viewers. When it comes to contract of government and parliamentary approval, you look at two key provisions. So one, you look at the 1992 Constitution, specifically under Article 1815, Article 181EO, and then specifically 5, where you have to get parliamentary approval when it comes to loans and international business. And also you look at the Public Financial Management Act of 2016, where provisions have also been made for certain type of contracts where whoever is engaging that in on behalf of government of Ghana must get parliamentary approval. If you look at the PFF, that's the Public Financial Management Act of 2016, Act 91, specifically Section 33, it deals with multi-year expenditure commitment. And under those provisions, once an entity is binding government in any contract that goes beyond 1 year, definitely you must look at getting parliamentary approval to be able to, you must get Parliament to approve that transaction before you can proceed.
So once this has happened and the minorities accusing government of not doing so, what is the solution?
The solution is that one, whoever once you are binding government of Ghana financially for more than 1 year, you ought to receive one ministerial approval, which is ordinarily something that can easily be done because it is the executive that is going into those transactions. And more importantly, parliamentary approval. If that is not done, that will be a breach of the PFF Act of 2016. And subsequently, depending on the context, whether or not it's an international transaction, will be a breach of Article 1815 of the 1992 Constitution.
Which means that someone has to be held liable for that.
definitely, when you look at the Act, penalties have been stipulated for anyone who breaches the Act. Once you breach the Act or you contravene it, there are penalties stipulated in the Act. So once you are looking at contracts of this nature, if it's binding government for more than 1 year, whether it's local, that's a local entity or international entity, whether it's a local contract or a foreign contract, definitely you need parliamentary approval.
So whose role is it to prosecute whoever, did not seek parliamentary approval for these contracts?
The prosecutorial powers belongs to the Attorney General under Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution. Unfortunately, this will bring us back to the long-old debate whether or not we should decouple the Attorney General's office from the Ministry of Justice, or even the Attorney General to be part of the executive. Because once you have an Attorney General who is part of the executive, what it means is that what we find over the years is that the Attorney General department ordinarily will prosecute opponents than prosecuting government officials within their own government. So where there are clear breaches of this nature and the person who has breached this agreement is a cabinet minister, you find it difficult as an Attorney General to proceed to prosecute that individual. And those are some of the challenges that we've had. So we will employ on the minister or whoever is binding government into this contract, whether it's a board of a state institution or the Director General or CEO, to seek parliamentary approval. I don't think that it should be complicated or should be an issue to present contracts of this nature to Parliament. The laws are pretty clear, they are not ambiguous, and then whoever seeks to do that must comply.
Roxanne, I'm grateful for joining us here. Away from that, as the world marks World Environment Day, the Forestry Commission is cautioning against illegal mining and the activities of chainsaw operators in forest reserves, which it says has become a threat to safeguarding the environment. District Manager of the Forestry Commission in the Setre-Kumewu District, Alfred-Yabepone, observes a growing trend of both illegal mining and chainsaw operations in the district. There's more in this report by Isaac Amwako, read to you.
Forest reserves in Ghana are under siege as illegal mining and illicit logging activities continue to degrade the once beautiful natural tree canopy. The Setre-Kumewu Forest Reserve is no exception. According to District Manager of the Forestry Commission in the district, Alfred-Yabepone, some operators have illegally taken the activities to the forest, threatening their protection. He is pleading with the operators to desist from their activities as they set out to clamp down on them.
Plead with people who get involved in illegal chainsaw to stop, because when these trees are felled illegally in the forest, sometimes in the nights when nobody is around, it ends up depleting the forest cover, and then we lose our water bodies because the trees around them are getting dry. On the part of Forestry Commission and on the part of the district, we'll be moving around with the help of the rapid response team, the police, and then sometimes the military to arrest these illegal operators. So our appeal is that these activities should stop so that we can have our forests, our animals in the wild, and then we can also protect our water bodies. Thank you so much.
As the country prepares for its yearly ritual of planting trees, the Forestry Commission is ready to distribute seedlings for this year's tree planting activity in the district. Alfred-Yabepone again.
We have a target of 240,000 seedlings out of the national target of 10 million trees that are to be planted. And we are very ready with these seedlings for people to pick up and plant. We also have collaborated with the traditional authorities. We have also engaged schools, all the educational institutions, primary, JSS, and the secondary schools. I would like to appeal to all the people around the district and across the country to get involved, because there are a lot of benefits in planting trees. We can all attest to the fact that we have been experiencing very hot weather, heat waves around. All these are because most of the trees we are felling, we are not replacing them. And so there's a need for everybody to get involved so that we can plant these trees, and then it will help us fight the climate change that we are, negative effect of climate change that we are experiencing now. Also for the rural communities and everybody, when you have trees around your homes or your houses, when there are strong winds or storms, these trees will serve as rain breaks.
Now, hiking food bite hard as many lament the unbelievable prices of foodstuff on the Ghanaian market. Now, a box of tomatoes that used to sell at 1,500 cedis now sells at almost 7,000 cedis, with many traders selling one tomato at 5 Ghana cedis. A small bucket of pepper, which used to sell at 65 cedis, is now 200 Ghana cedis. However, fresh data shows this trend may worsen in coming seasons as mining activities compete for land and labor in Ghana. My colleague Isaac Kofi of our research desk joins me with details of this research. Kofi, first, let's start from the major farming communities who are suffering from this menace.
Well, let's put the focus on the Ashanti region, which is one of the food banks of this country. In the Ashanti region, for instance, if you go to constituencies or districts, like the Bosome-Frehon district, where cabbage, cultivation of cabbage is really there. I mean, they do it in full quantity or full scale. And in this, places or farming area, you could see that maybe on the left side of the road, there's cultivation of cabbage, and the right side of the road, there's galamsey activities going on. Not just cabbage, but there's also tomatoes and other, food products, food items like onions and pepper. Now, why is this so important? It is important because if you take away the fact that we have supply restrictions as a result of the ongoing tensions in Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali, where we depend on them for some of this food stuff, when you come back to, in our domestic space, galamsey is actually taking a key component of the farmlands that we have. And this research that you see on your screens confirm these findings. The title you see on your screen, Towards Sustainable Food Crop Production, Drivers of Shifts from Crop Production to Mining Activities in Arable Lands in Ghana. So basically, these are the findings from this research, that arable lands have been converted into artisanal small-scale mining in some areas, which we call galamsey activities, taking over arable lands. Food crop production now competes with mining activities for land and labor in Ghana. So it's not just food. I mean, you've seen what is going on in the cocoa space, where cocoa farms are now being sold to galamseyers who are now buying them around 50,000 Ghana cedis, which is around $5,000, and they are taking over these lands.
And which, of course, has also impacted the production capacity of our cocoa industry.
I mean, Kojo, if you look at the cultivation of tomato and pepper, for instance, you need labor. This same labor that you need, you can see that most of them are now going on to mining side, because they feel that that's where, if they go, they will get the monies. They will not spend their time on farmlands weeding or helping to cultivate this vegetables and other food stuff that we need. So just like you said, today we were comparing the price of a sack of onions. Just last week it was 600 cedis, a sack. You could afford it for 600 cedis. Today we are talking about 1,500 cedis. That's a spheric rise from that 600 cedis just last week to over 1,000 Ghana cedis. So just like you see on your screens, arable lands are now being taken over by galamseyers in places like the Ashanti region. I believe that in the western region, also continue.
I think it's worse there, but anyway, let's see. I hope the authorities can crack down on that, and then we can save our environment. But let's move now to the coast, where environmentalists are warning of a looming disaster along Ghana's coast in Greater Accra region as a result of beach sand winning. Now, about 2 meters of the shoreline are swallowed by the sea annually due to illegal beach sand mining. Hundreds of youth at Coligono earn their incomes pillaging the sandy beaches. Joy Prime's documentary, Accra Galamsey, produced by Emmanuel Jivenu, explores how unregulated sand mining is worsening the existential threat of climate change and rising sea levels. Here are excerpts.
They collect sand in my time now. I'll be 46 years guy. People, they collect sand, I grow, see the sand, the sand be Gary, government delivers for us.
It's a crime, it's criminal. EPA will not permit and has not permitted any sand winning activity along the coastal line.
Robbing the sea of its buffer in broad daylight. They scoop the beach sand into several sacks and sell the sacks of sand for construction works. It will be very easy to arrest people who mine sand at the beach. But just like many other laws, enforcement is always a problem. Saki Otokuno has lived here his entire life. He and several others earn their incomes pillaging the sandy white beaches of Ghana's coastlines.
The sand way there, it be our food. It be Accra people, them our food. Ghana people, it be our food. If you go away, we don't get nothing. They can't take the sand, go sell some.
Beach sand is considered by these illegal miners as not strictly belonging to anyone. The relative abundance of this resource, coupled with unemployment and cultural misconceptions, have worsened the erosion of the coast.
How the people they chop the sand government with the beg leave us for us.
Kenu ba gba wona kejo woni ma yinu ona na soso e ke wona gba mo egba omo ki so ke jiga ni ba ma mi o wa nyi si water o ke fa me ka yu ake sia na lu o lojino ni ani so ba ma.
The impacts are clear and clear every day. There are damages and loss of lives and properties when the tidal waves occur. You remember Keta. Very bad experience.
Close to the site where these illegal sand miners operate, the cliff base is badly exposed to wave attacks. Bedrocks are visible, making it dangerous for swimming. The natural defense system to counter the sea waves is disturbed as a result of sand mining.
If we collect what is there, then we are compounding the problem in that the less sand that is coming into the system are being taken away. And that will obviously affect the sediment budget within that system. And it can cause a lot of problems. And one major issue as a result of that is coastal erosion. And that is the reason why in some areas we have increased problems with coastal erosion.
It appears there is a ready market for blocks molded with beach sand. Solid, hollow, and various design blocks are made right here at the beach. Thousands of blocks are waiting for buyers.
Some are being very smart in that if they collect the sand and send it away, they may be termed as winning sand or mining sand. But what some of them are doing now is take the sand, mold a block there. So if they are taking blocks away, it is not sand they are taking away, but blocks. But in any case, once you pick the sand, you are mining sand, or you are collecting or mining for sand. So the impact is still the same.
Man's activities, especially coastal sand mining, is waging war against nature. Man has to learn to live with nature and not against nature.
Now, over 150 houses have been flooded at Goma Mampong. Residents blaming the incident on the contractor working on the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway, whom they say blocked the pathway of River Yensu in the Goma East District of the Central Region. The River Yensu is one of the biggest river bodies in the Central Region, which starts from the Eastern Region and crosses the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway at Goma Ochereko into the sea. In an interview with Adom News, some residents say the river flooded the community around 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday. We have nowhere to sleep. I just returned from the hospital because my wife just gave birth. We will have no place to sleep after she is discharged from the hospital. We realized that our houses were flooded after returning from the office. We are pleading with the authorities to help us. We don't have any place to sleep. My wife and children are stranded. We are stranded and have nowhere to sleep. So we are pleading with NADMO to assist us. The flooding was severe.
I know what they might.
Our heart goes out to the affected resident there. Now, in a celebration of faith and national pride, the Deeper Life Bible Church has launched its 2024 Global Crusade with the General Superintendent Dr. William Kumuyi in Kumasi. The event aims to foster national cohesiveness and deepen citizens' love for their country while promoting virtues such as unity, moral integrity, and compassion across communities. The 5-day non-denominational evangelistic outreach is under the auspices of the General Superintendent of the Deeper Life Bible Church, Dr. William F. Kumuyi. There's more in the following report.
Hundreds of worshippers of the Christian faith gathered at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to ready their houses for the global interdenominational event. The 2024 edition of Global Crusade with Kumuyi is slated in Kumasi from July 25th to July 30th at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. The event is being held under the theme, "The Gospel to Every Creature is to Win and Save Souls for the Kingdom of God, Strengthen the Faith of Steadfast Believers, and Prepare them for the Second Advent of Christ." According to the National Overseer, Deeper Christian Life Ministry, Ghana, Pastor A.K. Diodu, the outreach is a tool of salvation and a bid to bring God's blessing of long life and unity among all people. He highlights the event will seek moral uprightness for society's transformation.
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to indicate that Ghana is about to experience a global explosion that will bear abiding fruits for us today and for generations to come. The religious, social, educational, and cultural heritage of the nation, and most importantly, the national cohesiveness and deeper love for one's country are a few of the benefits we stand to derive from the GCK Ghana edition.
The event assembled heads and representatives of churches and Christian organizations who share Christian faith, as Pastor Dr. W.F. Kumuyi, who has been in Christian ministry for over 5 decades. Apostle Samuel Ampon Safrimpong, chairman of the Christ Apostolic Church International, was a guest speaker of the event.
As a nation, the salvation of souls will attract the favor of God because righteousness exalts a nation, according to Proverbs chapter 14, verse 34. The presence of God in the lives of souls that will be won will affect their families, communities, business practices, and make them more responsible citizens. Beloved, can you imagine the impact on our national life and development to have saved and transformed ministers and parliamentarians?
Otumfuo Asechirihene Nana Prof Mensa Bonsu lauded the harmony and positive change the Christian gathering will foster.
In times of great gatherings, you will find strength and unity. It is in unity that we celebrate today, and it is in unity that will drive us forward.
Present at the launch were renowned men and women of God, including Reverend Douglas Frimpong, head of the Christian Council of Churches, Reverend Emmanuel Forsen, Reverend Nu Ben Abubakar, Rita Akusia-Dixon, Vice Chancellor of K University, and many others. Reporting for Joy News.
Just coming in indicates that there is a fire outbreak at Circle Ecomog here in Accra, and my colleague Papani Ashale is there for us. Let's get in touch with him for all the latest. As you can see on your screen, that is what is happening at Circle Ecomog. Papani, you have been there. What have you seen so far?
All right, Brace, good evening, Ghana. We are coming to you live from Circle Ecomog. And this is the second time in 2 years, we are told, that fire has raised down all the structures here. It's practically impossible to breathe and to keep your eyes open because of the thick smoke that has engulfed the entire area. It's been hours since the fire started. and Thomas pretty shortly will walk us through how this started. He tells me he was here when it all began, but certainly to walk you through the scene, you are still seeing the embers of the fire here still burning. Just to bring you up to speed what really has happened before we bring you what exactly has how all this started. We are told that 2 fire tenders from the Ghana National Fire Service have already been here trying to contain the situation. Unfortunately, they have had to move those fire tenders and then later bring in some more water to try and contain the situation from spreading any further. The winds are quite high, and that is the fear of the Ghana National Fire Service, that that wind could take small fires like this to some other new areas. Thomas, are you around? Thomas, oh yeah, Jimmy. All right, Thomas, ba. So Thomas tells me he was here at the time all this started. Pardon it. So Thomas, really, about your bluff, where we go? I want your bluff of you. Okay. So Thomas, for the sake of our viewers, let's do English. So you tell me you were here when all this started. Let's start with the exact time you noticed that the fire had broken out.
The time I was here.
What was the time?
The time is around 5 to 6. The thing happened like around 5 to 6. Okay. Let's take about 5:30 to 6 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, that time we are solving problem in the palace there. Okay. Then after we solve the problem, we never get any issue again. But we are there exactly 1 hour before 6 o'clock. Then we see that the fire is coming. We are watching the place fire from. Then we are going to see. We see that one or certain room fire is burned there. It catch after the fire. We never get solution to solve it fast. Then it started the spread.
Oh, so let me understand you. So there was an issue that the local elders here were trying to solve.
Leaders, okay. They are solving some small issue because somebody do something a little bad. Then our king was solving it. Okay. Because of our king want to solve the problem. After our king solved the problem finish, 1 minute or 1 hour never come. Then we hear disaster was coming.
Okay, really? Do we know where it started from? Was it somebody's intentional fault?
Because of the place it started, we cannot see this place it started, but we are there, we see fire is burning. Okay. Then our chief sent everybody so that everybody to make alert to remove his things. Okay. Then our king is good. Our king is good. Our king support us here. Our king, then our Safu people. Then try to help us, our boys to try to help us. We start to remove people, the things out. But plenty things spoil, plenty things too, we never get it.
I mean, earlier you were telling me that you believe that it may have started from one of the people who was cooking.
Then told me, after the investigation I do, then told me that one of girl was cooking inside the room, was using gas. Okay. Where he forget, he was smoking. I don't know the guy, how in mentality you see. Then he was smoking. Okay. After smoking, I don't know, he forget that he was cooking. Okay. Then the fire got. Okay. It be that I hear from the girls that they say that, oh, one of girl was cooking inside our palace, near our palace there.
Great. Thomas, I'll come back to you, right?
Thank you, boss.
For the sake of our viewers, if you're just joining us,
thank you, boss.
Thank you for joining us. We are coming to you live from Ecomog Circle right here in the Greater Accra region. We understand that this place, Ecomog, houses thousands of people, some from other countries who have taken this place as their home. This is the second time in 2 years that fire has engulfed the entire area. And you can see from some of your shots here that people are trying to salvage the little that they can of their entire livelihoods. For many that call this place home, everything that belonged to them, their entire livelihood, was here. For this place to go down in flames, it certainly means that their aspirations, their livelihoods have all gone down. And for them, it certainly will be a difficult time to try and rebuild those lives. Well, let's try and get to the Ghana National Fire Service. We understand that at least they brought in 2 fire tenders, 5 fire tenders. Thank you for that correction. So 5 fire tenders, and they're still working to bring in some more water to get the situation completely under control. Thank you very much for joining us here.
Thank you very much.
Please, for the sake of our viewers, your name and portfolio, please.
So my name is Alex King, ADO1 Alex King Nati. I'm an assistant divisional officer with the Public Relations Department at the Fire Service Headquarters.
Okay, great. So At what time did you pick wind of this particular incident here, and what was the response?
So around 5 o'clock, that's when we received the call. We always say that there's a difference between the time the fire started and the time the fire service was called upon. So immediately we were called upon, we dispatched our team from the circle to get here, and when they arrived at the scene, they realized that the fire was well alight and fast spreading. So they had to call for more reinforcements from Makola, from our national headquarters, from ministries, and then from other stations to augment the efforts here. Their replenishing is, as can be seen, our team are still replenishing and getting more water to the scene here at Circle. It's been a very tough situation for us because, as you can clearly see, the fire is under the high tension poles and the pylons, and you know, water and electricity does not really mix. So when our men got here and they realized that there was still power in the high tension, they couldn't have just applied water on the fire because they stand the chance of electrocution.
I see a lot of metal around too.
Yes, there's a lot of metal because the place was made up of both wooden and wooden structures and metallic. So you see, that's possibly a gas cylinder or a fridge or a freezer, because they all contain gas. And you see, and so for areas like this, it's highly discouraged for people to use such items in there, because these items fuel the fire and then put much lives in danger. So as of now, I won't say the fire is under control. I would say the fire has been contained, because the fire was very scary. It was fast spreading, but we've been able to contain the fire and cut it off from further spread.
Great. So you spoke about there's a difference between what time this happened and probably when they called you. What time exactly did they call you, and how long did it take you to get here?
So as I said, we received the call around 5. Okay, and within 10 minutes we got here. Would have got here much less time, but then the problem was that, look at the traffic situation. Even with accessibility, I'm sure with you guys, you probably parked your car somewhere.
Most definitely, we had to stop at the very main way, and walk all the way here.
Exactly. So you can imagine how curtailed it would have been for our appliance, being that big, to be able to navigate their way to here. So you realize that our appliances have parked behind this wall, and they have to lay hoses all the way from there, which is wasting water. But ideally, if accessibility was considered and in the planning of this area, and we wouldn't have probably recorded this situation. So it's a problem that is very worrying. So one thing I will concede is that with Ghana National Fire Service, yes, we are challenged when it comes to logistics. We are very much challenged. But we have committed officers who, at the peril of their lives, are determined that no matter what, they'll put their lives on the line.
Actually, I can see that I'm struggling to keep my eyes open, but yours have been on all throughout.
Imagine how it has been for our officers who've been here for hours, having to endure the smoke that's coming. I'm sure you are sweating like a pregnant fish.
Pardon me.
So, I'm in the tunic, and, so firefighters are human beings just like you. So we need support. We always say that we call on well-meaning Ghanaians, we call on government to do more to resource the Ghana National Fire Service. As it stands now, if there's any major fire within this area, will be challenged, because all the resources have been channeled over here, leaving just a few fire tenders out there to fight fires. So that calls into question the need, because yesterday we recorded fires at University of Ghana, Commonwealth, or the Amphitheatre, we recorded fires at Kaswa area. And today we are recording fire here. No one knows tomorrow. No one knows what will happen at dawn. So this calls into question the fact that the Ghana National Fire Service needs to be resourced, because once we are resourced, we are there for you. So we are not being resourced for ourselves. We are being resourced to serve the good people of Ghana.
Great. Nate, I'll come back to you, because we want to get you some more resources, but we also want to understand how you try to completely douse the fire here today. I understand your fire tenders are gone. They are going to come back with more. Yes. So I'll come back to you with exact details as to how you managed to deal with this, so how more fire tenders you're expecting. But again, if you just join us, we are coming to you live from Circle Ecomog. This place that has now gone down in flames is the home of thousands of many people. Unfortunately for them, it has become an annual ritual where many of them have to lose their livelihoods, their entire belongings this way. This is the second time in almost 2 years there's another fire here. Unfortunately for many of them, This is all they can do to scavenge through this rubble, through these ashes, for the little that they can get and try to move on with their lives. We'll speak to one of those people who have lost their entire livelihood in this particular exercise. But whilst we are doing this, for those who are thinking of moving into the Circle area, we also want to take some precaution because of the traffic situation and again, the bad access road coming to this place. Hello, madam, if you can join me. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'm really sorry for your loss. No problem. But what's your name?
My name is Zara James.
Zara James.
Yeah.
Zara, do you live here?
Yes.
Great. How long have you been living here?
Just a year now.
A year now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Were you here when the last fire came out?
No.
Okay, great. I mean, what did you have in your room?
I have a lot, my fridge, my things, and my money too.
Your money was here too?
Yes.
Okay. How much was in there?
31.
Come again?
31 million.
31 million Ghana cedis? Yes. Or just 3,100 cedis?
3,100 cedis.
Interesting. And what was that money to you?
It means a lot. But I don't have anything to say.
It means a lot to you. Yeah. Are you from Ghana?
No.
So
I'm Nigerian.
Great. So you came to Ghana for what exactly?
To hustle, make money, and make my family proud.
How does this make you feel?
Heartbroken.
What are you going to do now?
I don't have any option, but we are praying, hoping government should help us. That is the only thing I have to say.
Okay, great. But I didn't ask you, what really do you do here whilst you are trying to hustle?
I don't have anything at all. I don't have anything left, but I have God.
Okay, but really, apart from your money that was in there, what other things did you have? How many of you were in that room?
We are, me and with my small baby inside, but nothing happened. Only my things and my money got burnt.
Wow, sorry for you. Zara James, I'm really grateful for talking to us, and I hope that you get some respite soon. I understand that that's all your money you have. 3,100 Ghana cedis gone down the drain. Sad situation for you. Any other person who want to share their story with us? What really you had in there? Any man? If you know you stayed here, if you can just get closer to me, I'd really be grateful. You know, you stay here? You don't stay here. But why are you here? We're here for metal. Sorry. Okay, so there are so many people here. Many of them are shying away from the camera, but I'll try to get you some more individual stories of these people and what this place, Circle Ecomog, meant for them. The ashes have bits of flames in them. The wind is quite high tonight as well. Fuels the frustration of the Ghana National Fire Service that are working around the clock to get more fire tenders on site to try and completely deal with the situation here in Circle. Bossman, do you stay here?
I'm a unit committee member.
Of the area? Unit committee member of the area?
This
but what's your name?
My name is Richard Quartin.
Okay.
But I've been here for a while, more than 5 years, and I'm a unit committee member 2 years. You know, people don't know that this place is Okankwe South. And there's a division around Okankwe South and Klotekoli. And people think here is part of Klotekoli. But here is Okankwe South and it's in Kaneshi electoral area.
Let's talk about the situation here. Because I think just about a year ago, I was here with the regional minister together with the mayor of AMA. We were all here to look at the situation. At that time, it had gone down in flames. What really would you see as a unit committee member of the area? What really is the problem with this particular area?
Do you know the challenge here? There's no control here. Everybody is living for himself. Do you see where we are watching right now here? You would think it is just a place, but it's a drainage. It's a huge drainage. It's a big drainage, but it is covered. So when a huge situation like this, nothing is going on here. Everybody is feeling like I'm high. Like, do you know? So government need to come in. Government need to come in because here have been a place where people think squatters live here, but it is not about squatters. Squatters too are human beings and they need government attention.
So how do we solve that problem of this annual ritual of fires raising the entire area?
It is difficult, my brother. Here, You know, government don't give permit for people to live here. So
you want us to give them permit so that we can regularize their stay?
Yeah, the government have to do something about it, because today in Ghana here right now, I'm telling you, my brother, to rent a room is not easy. So people find this place as their secure place when they are coming from various places. People living here are not only Ghanaians, Nigerians, Liberians, most all the African countries people are here. So we are pleading to the government. They should turn their incentives here. Okay. It's not about the squatters alone, but even the security as such.
Okay, yes. Mr. Korte, unfortunately for time, we may have to say thank you, but don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you. So, finally, this is Seko-Ekomog that has now gone down in flames for the second time in less than 2 years. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, at the time, Henry Korte, together with the AMA Mayor, were here when there was a fire just about a year ago. But unfortunately, due to their concerns, this place has gone down in flames. For the thousands of people that lived here, called here home, and now again they may have to find their livelihoods elsewhere. It's unfortunate for them, but the Ghana National Fire Service has promised to deal with the situation once and for all. Some fire is still in some of the kiosks. You can see the ashes, again, very hot. The smoke is all around the area. For the fear of the fire service is that these fires may spread if not properly taken care of. But let me speak finally to Mr. Nate, who is with the Ghana National Fire Service. How much more tender, or how many more tenders should we expect to completely deal with this situation?
Okay, so we are trying to manage the few scarce fire tenders we have here in Accra, because as I said, we are very much under-resourced. So we can't channel all our resources to this place, because then there will be fires at other places. So what we are doing is that strategically we are replenishing and coming.
That is what is happening at Seko-Ekomog, where the fire has razed down several structures, and in that a lot of people have lost their properties, amounting to hundreds of thousands of Ghana cedis. Well, we'll keep an eye on this particular story. There will be more on myjoyonline.com. This is still The Joy in its prime. We'll take a break. All right, time for us to do showbiz, yeah? And the Queen is here, and indeed, in all her glory. Oh, my goodness. Hi, Becky.
Hello to you, Bruce.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I love the dress.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Safako Concilio for this beautiful outfit.
This is well done.
Today, we're talking about the music industry. Let's start from Ochiame Kwame, because he's talking about how musicians here think that going international is the best way to sell the Ghanaian music. But he says that no, we have to nurture our craft here and grow our craft here in Ghana so that it can overflow to the rest of the world. Ochiame Kwame.
So music doesn't go international, it becomes international. It's not taking the song to a group of people that makes it international. It is making the music. It's like water in a bottle. When it's full, it spills over. So we need to first fill the music industry in Ghana with the right copyright, with the right content, education, with the right bloggers, for the industry to be full, then it will begin to spill over. So yes, going international is good, but we need to take care of the music economy in Ghana.
But what do you make of it? The whole industry. I know that a lot is happening. Your recent collaboration with Ofori-Atta, there's a collaboration with Kwame Eugene. You're still spreading your wings and all of that. Tell me, where are we? What's the state?
See, Ghanaian music has never had the opportunities that social media, new media, and the new way of doing things. We've never had it this good. So we need to learn from the young people who have found how to do it, so that all of us can know how to do it in modern times, because culture is changing. You know, so it is evident. People like Kiddies, Kwame Eugene, Kim Promise, they found a way to do it. So we need to come together so that a lot more young people can replicate what they are doing, then our industry will grow. That's it.
Kwame right there. Let's move away from Ochiame Kwame and talk about Atongo Zimba. He is my guest on E-Vibes. The whole of this month, he's been talking about why he moved all the way to Germany instead of, you know, having his music head here in Ghana. Atongo Zimba.
Born and raised in the rural villages of northern Ghana, Atongo's journey into music began at an early age. Surrounded by the rhythms of his ancestors, he found solace and inspiration in the melodies of his homeland. From humble beginnings, Atongo's passion for music led him on a path of discovery and creativity. He honed his craft through years of dedication and perseverance, transforming his love for music into a powerful force of expression.
Because I went to the beach and I met this guy. This is a Swiss guy called Gabriel. He was a teacher at the Swiss school.
Okay.
And then he met me playing at this beach. And then he said to me, he would like me to come to the Swiss school for us to put a band together. And this band was Allah Mongore. That was my first band.
Right.
So with this band, we record and we tour to Switzerland. So since we came back from Switzerland, money comes into my house, so life started to change.
Okay, so
that's all my beginning.
So you moved?
So I moved out.
You moved out?
And because I saw that I was making money. I went for 6 months, I could be able to buy a car and ship it to Ghana. You understand? So I came back with the car, but I couldn't even drive. I don't know how to drive.
You still don't know how to drive?
No, of course. But
now you know how to drive.
Yeah. But when I first bought my car, it was Toyota Corolla. You know, this old Corolla, you know, with the back hassle, you know. And I brought it here. I never know how to drive. I have to get the driver. And when the driver takes the car, it doesn't come back. I sit down and wait.
Why did you think that your genre, which is the indigenous music, worked out for you outside the country?
Because you see, outside country, they don't care about what you sing. They care about the spirit and the message and the energy you bring out of your art.
Right.
So long as that value to them, it values something to them, you also enjoy to live good life.
Right.
But here, those times here, you have to sing tree song or about some concert song or about girls before you do. So we were not, Ghana mostly was not listening to the music.
Right.
They were listening for the stories.
But I thought we tell stories, I mean, in music as well. So
yeah, we tell stories, but you know, we tell different, you know, everybody tells stories in music. But if the people don't hear your stories, you don't know. But you know, there were a lot of good musicians in Ghana here, but you hear this Ankabede Yaoya, it was flowing everywhere. Those
right.
Okay, and then there was this guy, Kim Lumba Brother. They have another song, and then that one get famous. Any song that you talk about girls or a landlord, and for me, that's not the kind of songs I talk. I'm talking about songs how people suffer, people are surviving, how about a life history. I'm not talking about this kind of particular story. So in music, we have different stories to give.
Okay.
But my message of story, it was too boring to the Ghanaians.
It wasn't.
Me was samana be, I am cobra for me was samana be, I am cobra for me was samana be.
Atongo Zimba, don't forget that the story of Atongo Zimba will be on E-Vibes, the part 2, this weekend on Joy News and on Joy Prime. You should not miss it. And that'll be all for the show this evening. We're grateful for your time. Please join us same time tomorrow, and don't forget to use Pepsodent when you brush your teeth, because with Pepsodent,
every smile. Thanks for being a part of us. There's more on myjoyonline.com. We'll meet again, God willing, tomorrow.